It's another episode of the Funhouse Podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about the unfortunate closing of 400 of the GameStop stores, and it's already started. So let's get into, in this short episode of the Funhouse Podcast, 5 of the negative impacts this will have on the gaming community. Join the Funhouse. So we're just going to walk through really quick because this is really unfortunate. I know a lot of people say a lot of bad things about GameStop when it comes to trades and the trade-in markets and you know a lot of the promotions they've done or they do with especially with the buy two get one, which is one that I actually go back into the stores of GameStop. I don't go in there all the time, but I do go in there as often as I can. And unfortunately, with GameStop closing, this is really going to have an impact on gamers. So I'm going to walk through 5 things that I've noticed with the fact of GameStop closures, how this is going to have a severe negative implications for the gaming community. So, number 1, the impact on game availability. Now, I say this because GameStop does play a pretty good role when it comes to distribution of physical games. Yes, I know you can't get every single game there, but the fact that GameStop is a go-to for a lot of people that don't go to the retro gaming stores, because retro gaming stores, they just basically sell what they get in through trades or what have you. And GameStop is the place to go for video game stuff. I mean, you know that, I know that. Of course, a lot of people go to places like Target or Walmart or Amazon or Best Buy, whatever. But GameStop is exactly what they say they are. They are a game stop. Ha! So I noticed with the 400 stores closing, I actually experienced this maybe 2 weeks ago, right before, just even before GameStop announced the closure of the 400 games, or 400 games, 400 stores closing. I took one of my sons. We were going into the GameStop around the Christmas holiday and walked in there, and they were basically empty. They had everything in boxes, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" They were like, "Oh yeah, well this location's closing." I was like, "Okay." And they were like, "You can feel free to look through boxes, what have you." I took the opportunity, of course, to ask if they had any free posters or anything they were getting rid of. And then I just kind of did a search from where I was to find another GameStop location. And then that's when I found out through the online release, through, of course, social media, that GameStop was closing several stores, 400 to be exact. So, with the impact on game availability is the first one. Its closures limit access to new and used titles, particularly for customers who prefer physical copies, like myself. I'm a physical copy guy. My 18-year-old son, he does a little of both. He does kind of tread more to the DLCs, but you know, physical copy. Even he's learned that it's good to have a physical copy. For me, at least, over the digital ones. But with GameStop closing, it's going to make it to where it's going to make a little more push towards the digital downloads. Unfortunately, for a lot of people like myself that prefer to have an actual copy that you can play when you want, when you'd like, and the loss of community space. Now, this is one that I thought, because there are people that go into GameStop, they chit chat with others as they're looking at the PS5 section, PS4, the PC area, the Switch area, wherever it is, just talking about games, or hey, what's a cool game you play, this and that. I've experienced this a few times. So I think the fact that just gamers and the community hub that you would get at times, depending on your store location that you would go to, but you do get this at retro gaming stores, I think more than you do in a GameStop. Because anytime I go into a retro gaming store, there's always community there, and people are just talking about games that they've bought or they've played or they're looking for, and other people make a comment, or even the people that run the place are just like, yeah, this and this. But GameStop was known for hosting events and tournaments and gatherings, but a lot of retro game stores do this as well. So that is one of the 5 negative implications, but it's not a big one. If you could find yourself, I think, a local retro gaming store, you could still find that tournaments and all that stuff that goes on. The reduced trade-in option. Of course, GameStop was notorious for this, for not really offering much money or credit when you took a game in, but yet then they would turn stuff around and sell it for way more than they traded. And I get it, you gotta make your money that you paid, but you gotta make a profit because you got bills to pay. But a lot of people, of course, did not like GameStop's trade-in options. So I was never a big fan. I know when GameStop first came around, I did GameStop quite a bit, and I even realized that in the early years of GameStop, I was like, wow, their trade-in program is not the best. So that's another one. But again, retro gaming stores, they do this. You can, and they do a great job. A lot of retro gaming stores I trade with, they do a great job with it. Um, Another one is the job losses, of course. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs with 400 stores closing down. That's really going to impact people that that's their livelihood. That's where they work. That's where they earn. So I just really hope that these people can find new jobs, and that is an unfortunate thing for me. Of the top of the five that we're going through, which I got one more before we wrap up, that's the number one. Honestly, is the loss of jobs. Hopefully all these people can find jobs and continue to support themselves. And of course, the impact on indie games. That's one thing I look for when I go into the GameStop for the buy two get one, or just to go in there, just be like, hey, there's a GameStop, I'm gonna go check it out. I love looking for, or not love, I enjoy looking for indie games I've never heard of, and I'll read what the game's about. I'll do a quick YouTube search or whatever, or just to get an idea. What's this game about? What's the gameplay look like? Maybe somebody's played it. So for me, that was a cool thing. But again, I found some really cool indie games, at gaming conventions and retro stores. I've looked some up. But I could see that um, indie games were pretty big, at GameStop. I mean, there's majority of the time when I go to buy games at GameStop, I'm looking for indie games. Of course, there are big title games you want as well, but I'm always looking for a fun indie game just to play. I got one for the Switch called Supermarket Sweep. If you've ever played that, such a random game. It's a boy and a goat running through random supermarkets and a grocery cart. It's a lot of fun. It's just a silly, wacky game. But these are five things that I've noticed that could be a huge impact for the gaming community with the loss of 400 GameStop stores closing. As of now, many have already closed. But I just want to make sure I comment on that. And I want to know your comments. What are some things that you also see that are some negatives with the closing of GameStop? Or maybe there's positives for you that you see. Let me know in the comment. Until next time, guys, stay tuned. We're going to be taking a trip over to a local toy show that we've been to almost monthly now, and they're getting bigger and bigger, and it's getting more and more vendors, more and more people going in. The most recent one we went to, it's on one of our more recent videos, found a guy that was selling a bunch of games. He had some Super Famicom, a couple of Famicom, some NES, and I've got a show as well on our YouTube channel and our Instagram page and our Facebook page. I need to show some of the cool stuff I've got, not just from over the holiday, but some things that I've picked up at some conventions and what have you, or toy shows or what have you. I've really picked up a lot of really cool titles. There's a little stack behind me right here. That's just a few things. You can see this Roger Rabbit. Got that for Christmas for my son. It's a really cool, flashy pen, and I'm gonna put that on my work bag. Just because I really enjoy Roger Rabbit. But anyways, those were my 5 negative impacts for GameStop closing. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Be safe out there, and leave me a comment. Appreciate those subscribes, but let's support each other and just enjoy what we do with gaming, modern gaming, and retro gaming, and just all the fun and community that comes with it. So, till next time, join the Funhouse, Retro Funhouse.